And welcome to Post Game on the first day here of the 60th ACC Tournament here in Greensboro. I'm the coach, Dick Cox, joined by Coach Barry Toney, and we have had an action-packed first day of basketball. We got 4 games down, and we got, 9 games left to go?
Hey, Coach, we hadn't even got started good yet, but saw some good basketball here this evening. In that first game, with Maryland and Wake Forest, that was a pretty good game up until about 5 minutes to go in the game. Then all of a sudden, Maryland began to take control. Wake Forest was missing shots, and Maryland, they were making the plays.
Well, a lot of people went to bed here in the nightcap probably when Clemson played a great first half, an excellent first half against Florida State, led by as many as 10. I think had a 3-point lead or in that neighborhood at halftime and all, but they just had trouble putting the biscuit in the basket in the second half there. Played good defense, but it looked like that they tensed up from the outside, did not want to take the outside shots, and just were determined that they were going to pound it inside.
Hey, you're right there, Coach. And like Coach Burnell said in his post-game interview, it's almost like a script that had been seen, quite a few times this year. Down the stretch, seemed like some missed free throws. And looking at the stat sheet there, Coach, Florida State, they hit 24 out of 32 for 75%, and Clemson hit 19 out of 31, which was a big difference. And also, both teams didn't have that many turnovers, but looking at it from Clemson's viewpoint, late in the ball game, they had some turnover, which certainly cost them, but they still hung in there. They fought, scratched, and clawed. And Coach, even with about 40-something seconds to go, and a lot of people were leaving and all, hey, Clemson made a game out of it and came very close about possibly tying that game or even winning it. So they played hard, they competed, but one thing they weren't able to do, and that's finish.
We were talking about having chances to win, and I know this will probably be a sleepless night for Coach Burnell tonight, though. I remember having these kind of nights, too, because you stop and think back on it, that Clemson lost the game by 4 points tonight. Your final score, was 73-69. They had a freshman player, had an uncontested layup, shot a finger roll and missed it. If you used the glass, that's 2. You had another player that had a wide-open layup, went down the hole, laid it up too strong off the glass, missed it. There's 4 points right there. You get fouled in the act of shooting a 3-point shot 3 times. Right. So you get 9 shots out of that. And you only knock 5 out of the 9, or 4 out of the 9, you only knock 4 out of the 9. You miss 5 free throws there, when it's very rare you ever get a 3-point shot in a game, but you get 3 3-point shots in the act of shooting fouls, and you only make 4 out of 9 free throws. That's 8 points right there, and that's enough to make your stomach churn.
You're right, Coach. And how many times do we talk about, we being basically, high school basketball coach, but we tell our teams this: free throws and layups will win you games. Free throws and layups will oftentimes cost you games also. So those are basic things.
Very emotional Clemson locker room. That I know Devin Booker had a hard time even putting anything into words, saying he just didn't know when they were asking him questions. I know Milton Jennings had to take a few minutes to go and compose himself there, but there was disappointment. It wasn't like they were ready to get the season over with and all, and they said basically this has happened to us all year. This is what we've gone through pretty much all year, and they didn't have an answer for it, though. And, when you stop and think, with a young team like they had this year, though, you're going to probably go through some growing pains, because last year when we were at the tournament down in Atlanta, Coach Burnell said that this was going to be a challenging year this year for the basketball team and for, Clemson fans to be ready for it.
Well, Coach, you're absolutely right. And then the interview, Coach Burnell said what they're going to be looking at. He realized there are deficiencies in regards to their offense that starting tomorrow, they'll hit the road and start, doing some recruiting and try to offset those. But one good thing as a result of this season, Coach, they end up about 13 and 18, I believe.
13 and 18.
13 and 18. Things could have changed if they had, taken care of the ball a little bit more, toward the end of the game and made those free throws. But with a young team, things like that will happen. But it's good that a lot of those young men, they got a year of experience under their belt, and I foresee a lot of good things happening to Clemson basketball in the upcoming years.
Any luck at all in the 3 Florida State games? Could have been 3 wins instead of 3 losses this year. They went 0-3 and pretty much lost all 3 of them the same way.
That's right, Coach. You look at that, and you also look at what happened against North Carolina State. Both times they played them, they played them great up in Raleigh, and then they lost by a last-second shot over Clemson. So they're really not that far, but a lot of times you got to get over that hurdle, and lesson can be learned from losing those close ones.
In tonight's ball game, the final one of the year for the Clemson Tigers, Jordan Roper, freshman, led the scoring with 18 points, 16 points for a sophomore, KJ McDaniels, 7 points for Rod Hall, 11 points for Devin Booker in his final game as a Clemson Tiger, and 7 for Milton Jennings. Looking on the other side, White for Florida State paced the way with 24 points, the big post player for them, 12 points for Devon Booker, like that too, okay. Snayer had 10 points, 12 points for for Terrence Shannon right there, though. So they also had balanced scoring too.
Right, and hearing Coach Hamilton at the end of the ball game, you would have thought, Coach, they'd lost that ball game because he kept talking. He's bringing up some good points about what was happening in the second half, but he said those last 2 minutes were in a situation where it was almost like they were trying to give the Tigers the game, and that's something that they'll certainly be talking about in their upcoming games to finish the deal. Play hard, compete, finish.
In the game, and quickly recapping other things that went on tonight, though, and the game just before the Clemson game and the other night game tonight, Wake Forest had a 5-point lead at the half and got outscored 45-27, and basically the last 10 minutes they get stuck in the same boat with Clemson with a scoring drought. They cannot make a free throw, they cannot make one from the floor, and Maryland pulls away and goes for the big win, and they will advance zone and take on Duke tomorrow night. Florida State will take on North Carolina in the other quarterfinal game tomorrow night.
Coach, those are games they're going to get so-called gooder and gooder, aren't they? Because tomorrow we have, at noon we have Boston College going against Miami, in which a lot of people feel like they have a great opportunity to win the tournament. Then you're going to have Virginia and North Carolina State. Coach, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I think that's going to be a very competitive game. And like you said, Maryland and Duke, and then Florida State and North Carolina nightcap. So those games are going to get a whole lot better as we continue on throughout the week.
In the 2:30 game this afternoon, a close game at the half that NC State led 38-32, but they were able to pull away 42-31 in the second half and cruise to an 80-63 win. Richard Howell scored 22 points, and like you said, they advanced on to play tomorrow also.
That's right. You got that game, and I tell you what, over Virginia and North Carolina State, I think that may be one of the closer games tomorrow too, Coach. So, hey, we're getting down where the cream of the crop's going to be rising, and like we said, those games are going to be getting better and better because there's a lot of implications riding on each game from here on out.
And then in the first game that set this tournament in motion, the 60th annual ACC tournament, a freshman scores 41 points for Boston College over Georgia Tech, gets them into the next round. And who do they get to meet? The regular season champions, the Miami Hurricanes. I hear there is a hurricane warning out in that game for tomorrow.
Right, there's a hurricane warning. I tell you what, there's going to be some North Carolina warnings come tomorrow night too, aren't they, Coach? When the Dukes and the Tar Heels come to town, this place is going to be rocking and rolling, Coach.
My interesting comment of the night comes from Milton Jennings, and he was so frustrated and he could not get over. He said all year long, he said when you put your chest out and you stand your ground, it's called a charging foul. But he said when you get to the tournament, it becomes a blocking foul. Milton, welcome to Tobacco Road, ACC. The guys in the striped shirts know who's playing where.
Hey, you're absolutely right. They know they're Coach, but if you're not wearing the Duke blue or the Tar Heel blue, you just have to you got to fight through things. You can't worry about officiating. You adjust to the officiating. I know, like like when we coach in there, oftentimes the referees will tell us, you as a coach, you do the coaching. You as a player, you do the playing, and we'll do the officiating. You go by what we say.
Well, that's going to wrap it up tonight from the Greensboro Coliseum. We're going home to recharge our batteries on our camera and recharge our batteries because we have got, according to one of our sponsors at Cox Sports Broadcasting, a basketball aplenty tomorrow. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be real, and it's going to be real fun, and we'll be here to bring you a recap tomorrow night of all the games. We'll probably have a recap for you of the morning session, and then we'll have a recap rather than recapping all four. We'll have you 2 recaps tomorrow, so double your pleasure, double your fun.
Hey, good evening, basketball fans. What time is it, Coach? It is after midnight, isn't it?
It's after midnight.
We'll get a good
Seemed like Eric
rest.
Clapton had a song about after midnight, didn't he?
Hey, that's right. Hey, we'll get a good night's rest. We'll be ready, like you said, Coach. Basketball at Plenty.
He's Coach Toney. I'm Coach Cox. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.